Malaysia, we are back. It's been a while. It's been a little minute since I made Malaysian content, but I want to say I still got love for the place like never before. I am currently in Las Vegas, Nevada, but these clips are from my time in Malaysia, and I want to tell you 6 reasons why I like, no, love Malaysia, and why I will be going back, and you should too. So, first, we are going to start with the food. In this quick little clip here, you're going to see me eating some Islamic inspired foods. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, you're going to Malaysia. Why don't you eat the local cuisine? That's the thing about Malaysia. It's a lot more diverse than a lot of Americans may realize. People in Europe, they got it figured out. They know what's going on. When I was in Malaysia, I seen a lot of Europeans, but Americans, they don't make it to that side for whatever reason. Anytime they go to Asia, they go to like Japan or Thailand. Vietnam's kind of an emergent spot. You know, you got the good old Philippines, but I didn't really see any other Americans while I was in Malaysia like that. So I'm here to tell you that the food is great. You can get Syrian food, Iranian food, Lebanese food, Chinese, Indian. Great mixture. And the spices, the herbs, the seasoning, everything was on fire. I will say Singapore and Malaysia have my favorite food when it comes to Asia. Thailand was just okay for me, but I really love it out here. Now, to the next point. Why do I love Singapore? It's just the vibe. Like, it's so laid back, so chill. You know, even in a big city like Kuala Lumpur, you know, typically when you think of big city vibe, people are kind of pushing each other out of the way, shoving, super aggressive. This ain't America, baby. It's chill. Like, I go there, people still take their time to talk to you. They still will explain things for you. I've said this in many videos, but I'll say it again. I got lost twice while in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And both times I had someone assist me. When they assisted me, I tried to pay them as a thank you. They refused to take the money. I'm like, take this. You know, it's a couple dollars, whatever. It's nothing for me. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. You know, and they just was like, no. I'm like, wow, they just genuinely helping me and not expecting anything in return. That's definitely a good vibe, you know what I'm saying? Another reason is the cost. So you're seeing this clip right here. This is my staying situation. I want to say it was about 27 a night, I believe. I'd have to double check. It's about 27. Depends on when you go, because also, you know, seasonal and then how long you do the rentals and stuff. But this is an Airbnb unit. It is in right next to Little India, which is one of the main parts of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And you can stay there for about 27 a night. You know, if you go on off season, maybe you can get it 15, 16, 18, whatever. And then if you do the extended stay a month or more, there's always a discount there, right? So this one, I think I was doing weekly, and I just kept renewing it. Excuse me. But the cost of everything is super cheap. Like, I was buying dinner for like $5, $4, $7, etc. You'll see, like, you can take an Uber, right? So in this clip, I'm walking, but if I wanted to take an Uber from like Little India to my spot, or my spot to downtown main part of Kuala Lumpur, it probably would have cost me like $4. It's nothing. You know, it's so cheap, so affordable. Like, I cannot push this enough. People think Thailand's cheap. Wait until you go to Malaysia. I will say Thailand is about 10% more pricey than Malaysia, right? So if you enjoy it there, you're definitely going to enjoy it here. And the same thing as far as them being accustomed to foreigners. So even though not that many Americans may go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, or Malaysia in general, you'll see that they are accepting of outsiders. Who is considered an actual local? Who is an outsider when you're there? Well, when you're there, you're going to see people from Nigeria, people from India, people from China, people from Singapore, people from Malaysia. And they're all can be considered locals, honestly, because a lot of them are actually born out there. Because when you think of, I don't want to go too political with this, but when you think of who's the actual Malaysian, I remember talking to a Malaysian friend. I was like, how many people in Malaysia are actually like, can trace his ancestry back to the point where their great grandmother, their great grandfather actually lived here? And it was explained to me, not many. Because a lot of people you have will be like Chinese Malaysian or Indian Malaysian, right? They're Malaysian technically, but you'll see that their parents or their grandparents were somewhere else. So even they are from somewhere else, right? By the way, Kuala Lumpur is a fast growing city. You're going to see a lot of buildings coming up, but it is still very affordable, right? I remember meeting a British fellow out there. He's telling me, man, I just bought a condo out here and I just moved out here. It's been great, man. You should do the same thing. I was like, okay. It's in my plan. I'm considering doing it long term, right? As you know, I am living this digital nomad lifestyle. I'm considering where I want to go. Malaysia is on the list, right? I'd say it's top 10, but I don't want to limit myself, so I am looking at other options as well, right? So I want to bring up another point here why I love Malaysia. We talked about foreigners, outsiders, etc. Here's a beautiful thing about Malaysia if you don't know. They speak English. Now, the history of why they speak English is not so beautiful. Unfortunately, they were conquered, like many other places in the world. But an advantage of this situation, we may say, hey, we don't want it to happen, but an advantage of this situation happening is they speak English, right? So I'm kind of curious why companies hire people from the Philippines as call representatives, sales representatives, agents, etc. when they can hire people from Malaysia for about the same cost. So I would love to know the history of that. If somebody knows that history, leave a comment down below in the comment section. I'm very curious as to that. But you'll see when you're walking through the streets of Malaysia, you'll see many signs that are in English. People will more than likely greet you in English, especially if you look like you're from North America, UK, etc., right? Directions will be in English. Menus will be in English. You do not have to take the extra steps, or some countries you have to actually learn the language, right? You go to Brazil, most spots in Brazil are not going to be English driven. You see it a little bit here and there, but you better learn, right? You better learn some Portuguese. Here you can get by straight English, no problem. If you want to learn some local dialects, you can always do that as well. I feel like that's encouraged to make the locals feel more respective towards you. But generally speaking, you do not need it, especially if you're in a big city like Malacca, like Kuala Lumpur, like Penang, like Georgetown. The bigger cities, the better, right? Bigger is better in this particular scenario. Now, speaking of bigger, you'll see walking around that there are a lot more people in shape compared to the United States and Australia and Canada. If you're from one of these quote unquote developed countries or power countries, first world countries, whatever they want to label themselves, Western countries, I don't know what they call themselves these days. But you're like, man, these countries have so much quote unquote power, but most of the citizens are overweight. You don't see that here. Why is that? The food is clean. The food is organic. The food has natural qualities in it. They have less preservatives and chemicals than we do. It's cleaner. So that same chicken, beans, and rice you were going to eat back home is not going to have the same effect once you get here. On top of that, you'll see that the weather out here is pretty nice. Now, it does get hot, I'm not going to lie to you. And in the summertime or their springtime, it can get extremely humid. However, I got a flip side to that. If you go on google.com and you type in benefits of humidity, you'll see that humidity actually helps with aging. It makes your skin more fresh and can be more beneficial to your body. If you don't believe me, do your own independent research. So maybe this is why the people of Malaysia look a little bit younger. Is it the humidity, the clean food, the lifestyle, the laid backness, the receptiveness, everything bundled in one? If you have never been to Malaysia and you are interested in Asian travels, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and I will do my best to assist you. I have been replying to every comment and every message, except the people who do the little, hey, hire me for, it's like a robot or a bot. They spam your channel or whatever with this little SEO stuff. Those are the only people I haven't been replying to. Everyone else I've been replying. I use the same name on all the platforms that I use. PayMeInPaella, PayMeInPaella. PayMeInPaella. I am pushing the Malaysian card hard because it truly opened my eyes and was a surpriser. You got to remember, my first time in Malaysia, I was never even going to go. I was actually going to go to Vietnam. I was talking to this Vietnamese girl. We ended up going our separate ways. And that put me in a position where I was like, I don't even want to go to Vietnam. And then on top of that, I had a friend in Singapore. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Singapore. But while I'm in Singapore, I might as well go to Malaysia because it's just right there, right? That's my logic. Like, I'm not going to go all the way to Asia and not, see a couple countries, right? So I ended up the first time going to Malaysia for like a day and a half or something. But it just blew my mind. So I've been back, one or two times since then. So I definitely recommend it. Cheaper than Thailand, good food, good vibe, clean, organic. And the final reason that almost forgot to mention is the safety. So I used to live, I met, someone has heard me say this, but some people have not heard me say it, so I'm just going to say this. This was the original reason why I was scared to go to Malaysia. I used to live in California for 3 years. During that time of living in California, one of the people I lived with was a Chinese Malaysian woman. She opened her house to me, right? So I lived in her, it was almost like a garage, casita type outback unit. So I lived in her backyard in this miniature house, and she lived in the main house. But I would pay her rent, right? I think I paid her like $1,800 a month or something like that. But she was Chinese and Malaysian. So I used to ask her about Malaysia, like, oh, I want to go to your country. It sounds cool. She's like, no, don't go. It's dangerous, this and that. Mind you, she hasn't been there in over 35 years. But I'm thinking, okay, she's from this country, so she still has some connections or roots to it, family, friends, etc. But as time goes by, and now that I reflect, I put the pieces of the puzzle together, I never heard her speak to anybody from Malaysia. So I'm thinking either all her friends and family members live somewhere else, they pass away, or maybe she doesn't talk to them anymore. But I believe she was kind of out of touch, and I say that in a respectful way. The reason why I say that is because she's giving me her Malaysian experience from probably 50 years ago. Malaysia today versus 50 years ago or so is not the same, because she said she was a little girl when she was living there, and she's got to be at least in her 60s, if not 70s now. So I'm assuming it was, 45, 55 years ago or so. But she used to tell me, you're going to get kidnapped. Don't go. It's dangerous. They don't like Americans. Blah, blah, blah. So that, what she told me, plus what I was seeing on Instagram, like some of the laws, like you're not allowed to hold hands with women or stuff like that. Those two reasons kind of blinded me. So I thought oh, I guess I'll never go. But thanks to my friend who lived in Singapore who gave me the insight, and then me having to fall out with the Vietnamese girl led me to Malaysia, and that's what got me there. But that's why I believe you should visit, and I hope everybody has a nice night.